The king of rock and roll had a voracious appetite, but he wasn't the only rock star who had a memorable last meal. In fact, the pantheon of legends past is quite the smorgasbord of morbid intrigue and tragic loss. In the 1960s, John Lennon was one of the four most famous musicians in the world. They were the Fab Four, aka the Beatles, with Lennon as one of the lead singers and songwriters. After they broke up in 1970, Lennon forged a successful solo career, churning out hit singles like Imagine, Give Peace a Chance, and Instant Karma, before taking a 5-year break in 1975 to focus on raising his son Sean. As recounted by the book Killing the Legends, The Lethal Danger of Celebrity, December 8, 1980 was an eventful day for Lennon. On his schedule were a Rolling Stone photo shoot with photographer Annie Leibovitz and a 3-hour radio interview to promote his latest album, Double Fantasy. But before all that, he ate breakfast at Café La Fortuna, a restaurant near his apartment in Manhattan's Dakota Building, where he ordered the Eggs Benedict. After his work activities, he grabbed lunch at the Stage Deli, and according to his manager Gil Kashkin, he ate a corned beef sandwich. That night, Lennon was about to walk into the Dakota when Mark David Chapman, for whom Lennon had autographed an album earlier that day, shot 4 bullets at the musician at short range with a .38 caliber handgun. Lennon died of his wounds on the way to the hospital. He was only 40 years old. Jimi Hendrix's time at the top of the rock and roll heap lasted barely 4 years, but he did a lot in that short time. He combined blues and rock with innovative guitar playing and amplification to create a wholly original and psychedelic sound. His unforgettable style can be heard in classic songs like All Along the Watchtower and Purple Haze, and seen in memorable performances at Woodstock and the night when he set his own instrument on fire. As recounted by the book Rock Obituaries, Knocking on Heaven's Door, Hendrix drank a lot of red wine at a party held in London by former Monkey Michael Naismith. In the early morning hours of September 18, 1970, he returned to the basement apartment at the Samarkand Hotel, which was rented out to his girlfriend Monica Dannemann. While there, he ate a tuna sandwich, consumed 9 barbiturate pills, talked with Dannemann for a few hours, and then fell asleep. In the morning, Dannemann discovered Hendrix's dead body. The cause of death was an overdose of the barbiturates. His body had attempted to expel the drugs by vomiting, but Hendrix asphyxiated on the vomit. He was only 27. As one half of the pop duo The Carpenters, along with her brother Richard, drummer and singer Karen Carpenter ruled the world of soft rock in the 1970s. Her melancholy love songs and heartbreaking ballads like Superstar and Rainy Days and Mondays were the smoothest things on the radio at the time. But behind the hits, she struggled with body image and an eating disorder. In the early 80s, she was diagnosed with and treated for anorexia nervosa. As recounted by the book Why Karen Carpenter Matters, the singer went out to dinner with her parents in her hometown of Downey, California on February 3, 1983. They went to Bob's Big Boy and she ate a shrimp salad. On the way home, she stopped at a local Mexican takeout place and ordered a couple of tacos to eat while watching that night's broadcast of the miniseries Shogun. In the early morning hours the following day, Carpenter suffered a heart attack. Her system, and her heart especially, had been weakened and stressed by years of damage from the anorexia nervosa. She was only 32.
Some people just never get the damn break they need, it's really a drag.
Elvis Presley was known as the king of rock and roll, and he was certainly the genre's first superstar. He shocked and delighted in equal measure with his country-influenced drawl and hip-swiveling dance moves. After selling millions of albums and scoring dozens of hit songs, he settled into a role as an elder statesman of rock in the 1970s. During that period, he frequently performed bombastic shows in Las Vegas in sparkly jumpsuits and spent most of the rest of his time at his Graceland estate in Memphis, Tennessee. According to the book Elvis Caught in a Trap, by August of 1977, the singer's weight had climbed to 250 pounds, and he'd been placed on a restrictive diet to lose weight before a tour. He was known to regularly eat multiple hot fudge sundaes in one sitting, and on August 16th, he ordered some ice cream from the kitchen. With his diet in mind, staff sent a small for Presley portion of 4 scoops along with 6 cookies. Hours later, and unable to sleep while lying in bed with his partner Ginger Alden, while also reportedly dealing with a severe constipation episode, Presley went into the bathroom to move things along. He reportedly brought the book A Scientific Search for the Face of Jesus to read while the time passed. While sitting on the toilet, he suffered a heart attack, and Alden then found him face down on the floor, unresponsive. He was rushed to Baptist Memorial Hospital, but alas, doctors couldn't revive him, and he was pronounced dead at the age of 42. The Who had a reputation as one of the loudest bands on the planet. That noisy, propulsive hard rock was thanks in major part to Keith Moon, who provided frenetic, difficult, and technically precise drumming on the band's songs in the 60s and 70s.
I turn my cymbals up this way so that at the end of the night I have a salad mixed.
He was also a frequent consumer of alcohol, though he attempted to rein in his hard-partying ways in the late 70s by going on Heminevrin, a medication to treat alcoholism. On September 6, 1978, Moon attended a party thrown by Paul McCartney at a diner in the Covent Garden area of London. The occasion was to celebrate the birthday of deceased early rock star Buddy Holly, in advance of the premiere of the movie The Buddy Holly Story later that evening. Moon was trying to limit his alcohol intake, so he cut himself off at 2 glasses of champagne. Upon returning home in the middle of the night, he asked his girlfriend Annette to prepare a meal, so she cooked up some lamb cutlets. Around 4 a.m., Moon took a large dose of Heminevrin and fell asleep. Then he woke up at 7:30 a.m. and demanded more lamb chops. He ate those, took some more pills, and fell asleep again. He never woke up and was pronounced dead at around 6 p.m. on September 7th. For 30 years and thousands of shows, singer-guitarist Jerry Garcia was the leader of the Grateful Dead. This iconic rock band was a sprawling San Francisco-based collective that combined the folk, pop, and psychedelia of the 60s to create a wholly new improv-heavy style that earned the band the designation of the first major jam band. Garcia also sat atop a massive subculture, with the group's vast army of tie-dye-clad deadheads following the band from tour stop to tour stop. Alas, Garcia also suffered from a host of medical problems, including type 2 diabetes and substance addiction. In the summer of 1995, around the time of his 53rd birthday, he wrapped up a Grateful Dead tour and checked into Serenity Knolls, a Northern California health spa and rehabilitation center. On August 8th of that year, his wife Deborah checked him out of the center, took him out to dinner at an Italian restaurant, and then returned him to the facility. The next morning, a staffer checked in on Garcia and saw him lying atop his bed linens cradling an apple in his hands. Later that day, while still at Serenity Knolls, he died of a heart attack.
You're on. We're off. Thank you, Jerry Garcia.
Psychedelic rock band The Doors were known for quintessential late 60s tunes like Break On Through to the Other Side and Light My Fire. In 1971, their frontman Jim Morrison left the band to live in Paris with his girlfriend, Pamela Courson. While taking this break from music, he reportedly also wanted to break free from his substance abuse issues. According to Classic Rock magazine, on July 2, 1971, Courson was reportedly feeling under the weather, so Morrison went out to dinner alone at a restaurant on the Rue Saint-Antoine, where he consumed a sweet and sour Chinese-style dish and multiple beers. After seeing a movie, he returned to his apartment, began drinking whiskey, and watched some home movies with Courson. Then he fell asleep, waking at some point to take a bath. He threw up 3 times and fell back asleep in the bath, dying at some point in the night. He was only 27. Throughout the 1970s and 80s, Queen was among the biggest bands on Earth, in terms of record sales, the number of fans they could draw to their concerts, and their sound. It was all built around the emotionally powerful and near-operatic vocals of frontman Freddie Mercury. He was as comfortable belting out ballads like Somebody to Love and We Are the Champions as he was hard rockers like Another One Bites the Dust and Bohemian Rhapsody.
I'm a big ham, really. I just get on a stage and do it.
On November 23, 1991, Mercury announced in a press release that he contracted the AIDS virus and that he was in the late stages of the disease. About 24 hours later, he was dead. As he lay in bed that last night, his partner Jim Hutton tried to feed him a mango, as recounted by the biography Somebody to Love. He had trouble swallowing and he nearly choked on the fruit, which had caught in his throat. He was only 45 at the time of his death. London rock and roll clothing shop owner Malcolm McLaren assembled the Sex Pistols with a bunch of amateur teenage musicians who hung around his store. They were one of the first bands to embrace the look and sound that would come to define punk rock. The completely inexperienced John Simon Ritchie, aka Sid Vicious, replaced original bassist Glenn Matlock in time to record the band's first album, 1977's Nevermind the Bollocks, Here's the Sex Pistols. Vicious developed a severe dependency on heroin and a relationship with band fan Nancy Spungen, and when she was found murdered in a hotel, Vicious was a suspect. After Spungen's death, Vicious connected with actor Michelle Robinson. She held him a celebration dinner at her apartment in New York City on February 1, 1979. This was hours after he was released from the Rikers Island jail after a 2-month stay for attacking a man in a club with a beer glass. Along with Robinson, his mother Ann Beverly, and a few friends, Vicious ate a plate of spaghetti bolognese. Both Vicious and Beverly were heroin addicts, and after dining, he asked her to go find him some drugs. He took those, but he wanted more, so a friend supplied him with almost pure heroin, which he injected. Then he immediately collapsed. Revived by Robinson and Beverly, Vicious injected heroin one more time overnight and was found dead in the morning. He was only 21. With his breathy, soulful vocals and charismatic performances of songs like Need You Tonight and Never Tear Us Apart, Michael Hutchence brought his pop rock band INXS from Australia to success around the world in the 1980s. As recounted by the Daily Mail, on November 21, 1997, Hutchence dined at Flavour of India, an Indian restaurant in the eastern suburbs of Sydney. The head chef personally cooked the meal for Hutchence, who was a regular at the restaurant, having dined there every few months since 1991. Arriving with his father and stepmother, Hutchence ordered a dish consisting of crab meat mixed with shredded ginger, chilies, and onions, served inside the skins of a potato, along with buttered chicken masala, chicken tikka fillets, and mushroom sagaloo. Hutchinson's body was discovered surrounded by empty alcohol bottles in his room at the Ritz-Carlton in Double Bay, Sydney the following day. He'd been reportedly suffering from family problems and depression. Investigators ruled that he died by suicide. He was only 37. If you or anyone you know is having suicidal thoughts, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline by dialing 988 or by calling 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255.